we're in an incredible area. It's outside of Cave City, which is on the 65 corridor in central Kentucky. It's the area specifically is Roppel Cave, which is connected to Mammoth Cave, and Mammoth being the longest cave in the world. So the two are connected, and there's various other caves in the area that are also connected to Mammoth, making it the largest cave in the world, longest cave in the world. My name's Mark Wenner, and I was the person that took ownership of the key to the cave today. We always just refer to it as the Roppel Expedition. I mean, this would be Roppel 2013. The Weller entrance is the entrance that we went into. It's a private piece of property. It's owned by Dave Weller. It's a bunkhouse, a solid concrete room on top of the cave, which is locked, and it was dynamited. So they literally dynamited the top out of a dome, and we descend approximately 135 feet of ladder down to the floor of the cave, and then we take off on our journey. Beyond that, we were gone for about 2 hours to get to where we were diving. And just incredible amounts of equipment had to go down those sets of ladders, be shimmied and delivered to this area where the river meets the ceiling of the cave, and it can only be accessed by dive equipment. The oldest part of any cave is the base level. The base level would be where the river is running. So we're basically diving the river caves. Principally the Green River and the Logsdon River are the two. Roaring River is another one that we're working in. These are all some of the main rivers that gather all this surface water and channel it through the cave system. The river that we were working in is the Logsdon River. The Logsdon River runs through the national park, through Mammoth, and also ran through Roppel. So when people were willing to walk for hours in Logsdon River, it didn't take long to connect those two areas. The trips that we made in 2007 were done with very little map work. So we didn't know there were ladders. We didn't know that there was disgusting mud and things that we had to traverse with all this equipment. Beyond that, the challenge on this one is you're up all night, well then you got to eat. So we were packing, cave stoves or camping stoves and abundances of food, trying to keep our sugar levels and our calorie count. We're in dry suits to dive, then cave suits to explore, and then back into dive suits. Diving there, diving back, climbing. It's an incredible logistical feat to put all that in 15 hours and keep the integrity of the team, which is all that's important, together. Our support is always wonderful. It's the main reason that we're able to do what we do. I mean, if we're just there hauling equipment, we're not going to get anything done. We're going to be exhausted, which is the case. Typically, we're hauling our own gear, so we're used to that. The team here is really important because the logistics stack up so quickly, and that's what we really feel. We feel the fact that we've got to really transport this gear this long distance, have everything in working order. It's very, very muddy. I mean, we're talking about 6 inches of mud clinging to everything that you're wearing. You get to the water, then you're supposed to dive with all this mud. And just keeping things clean and organized, and where things go in your bag, and where's the batteries for my helmet. I've got 3 helmet lights. Some of the lights on my helmet are for dry caving, some are for wet, for diving. And just this constant menagerie of obstacles. It can't be described. the exhaustion that we feel right now after being up all night, but also simultaneously it's like the camaraderie of the relationship and the intensity of knowing that we've supported each other. That there were moments where you've got everybody's back in every moment, and there's those reach out moments where you just got to reach out, and you're the one thing that keeps somebody from tipping over, or the one thing that keeps somebody from getting tangled in the line. There was a multitude of things that happened today that would take most divers or most people and shake their trees, and we experienced all that. Cave Research Foundation is really the group of people that allow us access to the cave. Literally the key, there's various entrances to this cave system, so we have to get the key to that one of those entrances. And that's done through Cave Research Foundation, which is a 50-year-old agency. The project was originated maybe 2 months ago, so a lot of prerequisite work had to be done politically to get everything in place. So we have various projects going here, projects that have to do with water levels and dive tracing and exploration and mapping of the caves. The dive team that we used on this trip, there are no better. It was Mike Young, who was a new addition. We spent time with in Puerto Rico, and incredible diver, incredible explorer. The two other people that I dove with in 2007 was Brian Williams and Matt Vincent. Both incredible explorational cavers and divers. So that's the magical combination. They are cavers and they're cave divers. When we go dive that particular area where we were today, we leave all dry cavers behind because you need tanks and diving gear and the experience to get back there. Well, we left yesterday morning at 11 a.m. and we were in there until 9 o'clock this morning. So you can do the math on that. We were up all night, exhausting ourselves with survey, exploration, putting new dive line in the sump that we were diving, because the old lines are historic lines that have been in there 20 years. They're not safe. We had found leads in 2007 that we were going back to fulfill, just to see if they were capable of being surveyed, look at any possible areas we hadn't seen the last time, and just get ourselves out of there in one piece. That's our ultimate goal, is to go in there, take care of the objectives that were spelled out on the front end. We have a complete list of things that we have to tell the governing agencies that we're going to accomplish while we're in there. And once we accomplish that, we pull the plug and do it with safety in mind. 3 days of work back there, but we're pulling the plug because we don't want to get hurt. We want everybody back, no injuries. And I think that's more important than anything. If I'm going to say anything to you, it's we can push it, but we can't push it to the point where somebody gets hurt. And the only way to do that is to have some help hauling that stuff in or out. Yeah. Thank you. We absolutely did. I mean, I had a bullet point. We're going to go in and replace the dive line. Check. The next thing, we're going to go to the 2 leads that we discovered. Check and check, which both required putting climbing gear on and hanging on a rope for 2 hours. One team was hanging on the rope. Our team, my team with Mike Young, was dropping into a pit on a rope and finding that it walled out, meaning it wouldn't go any further. So those 2 objectives were accomplished. Some of the original cave explorers that were divers, and that's really the work that we were following up on, was like Roberta Swicegood and Wes Skiles and Ron Simmons were big important components to the diving community that explores some of the caves here. I had a really strange feeling today. There were 4 divers involved and no support was there. We had dove to our destination, done what we needed to do, and we were on our way back. We had packed our gear, and as we were exiting the cave, I had this incredible feeling like we were missing one person. Literally, like one person was supposed to be in the cave with us. And I passed it off. I just thought it was somebody thinking about us, like a wife or a loved one. Then, later on, as we exited the cave, I felt it again. It was a real strong feeling. 3 of the people that have been beyond the sump have perished with cave diving accidents, and not in Roppel, but in Florida and West Virginia. 2 were in Florida and West Virginia. So we're really trying to carry on the tradition of those people that really risked their life. I feel that there's plenty of things that need to be done here. We found passage that is unexplored passage, plenty of it. But then you have to look at the logistics of staying beyond 15 hours. What is it? Are we going to set up beds and literally camp on the other side? That's what it would take. Do we use tanks on our backs, or do we use rebreathers? That's a big equipment logistical concern, because tanks, when we dive from tanks, it's different than diving from rebreathers because of the size of the tanks. All of this comes into play with the goals that we'll have for the next time. And I do believe we'll be here again, and we've got a strong relationship with NPS and CRF. So I look forward to any future events with them.